All right. Hopefully, you guys can hear me loud and clear out there. Testing 1 2 1 2. We are back again for another episode of the podcast here, the Tight Splice Charters podcast. Captain Cody Davis here with you guys as always. I believe this is going to be episode number 13 or something like that. Sorry that I haven't been doing these on a regular schedule at all. Far from it. I've been experiencing some technical difficulties here, so hopefully you guys can hear me because I have repeatedly said, on here, I am not tech savvy at all. I really have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I just kind of set this stuff up when the baby's asleep and, do this. So it's really thrown together. But with that being said, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy making the videos and just sitting here and doing these small little podcast things. And I keep saying podcast things. I for some reason I don't label what I do as a legit podcast, and I'm not sure why. Because all a podcast is a recorded conversation. But maybe it's because I'm not usually having a conversation. It's just me sitting here ranting. But a lot of you enjoy it. A lot of people, to me, I get lots of people that just randomly get on the boat, or just people I fish against, or a lot of people that I would never in a million years would think would care to listen or would ever listen to anything I had to say that told me that they love listening to this. So I really want to get on more of like a regular schedule where maybe I do one of these a month or maybe once every 2 weeks. It's just hard, with the baby and work and life. But I definitely want to do it because I am in the process of really trying to make a push to not only grow possibly this podcast, but my YouTube channel in general. Really trying to expand. And like I said, I'm just kind of sitting here at this desk with this deal set up. And I get a lot of people that ask me, man, with where you live, where do you rent out a podcast studio? Or where people think I have like this big studio. A lot of people think I'm a lot bigger than I am, I guess. I have no idea, but say, no, I don't have a studio. I'm far from that. This is just a desk, a table, not even a desk, a table set up in a corner of our game/living room here. We got our fish tank. We've got kind of a little bar scene in here with our pool table and stuff. And, this works for me. This is fine. But I do want to do something a little bit more stationary, something that's just set up as almost kind of like an office for me. We have an office here in the house, but Breezy was in charge of decorating that, and it just doesn't look very fishing podcasty, which is fine. But that office, anyway, as a lot of you parents know, was very, very, very quickly turned into a playroom. So I don't really have a place to just go and sit and not only do these podcasts, but it's, you guys have seen me sitting here when I go back and do my reflection videos, like going back and doing voiceovers, reflecting on my day, reflecting on my tournament. Not only that, this is where I sit and, when I have time, I sit and get to you back to you guys to schedule trips. And then, like my camera deal here is just, I have to come in, set it up. I want something that just, hopefully we're trying to figure out something that can just stay set up. Everything's set perfect, the same distance and everything, and stays hooked up, and we can make it work. And Breezy, we're trying to figure that out as of right now. So possibly maybe the next time I do one of these podcasts, it'll be maybe a different backdrop, and maybe it'll come out a little bit better. But either way, I appreciate you guys watching and following along. I think it's great you guys just care at all of what I have to say. Pretty cool. And I'm going to really try and get some guests on here. Again, it's difficult because I do it out of my house, and then I got people coming over. We got bedtimes, we got work. So, but either way, we're trying to do that, and we're trying to just, I'm really trying to make a push at growing the channel as well. I don't know why I really care to. Like I said, the whole reason that I started this YouTube anything was just for more exposure, and at the end of the day, more advertisement for my guide business. And I never thought I'd make any money at it. And am I getting paid from YouTube now? Yeah, I guess. $100 a month or $120 a month isn't really doing anything, but I don't necessarily even care to grow it for money. I know there's people out there making hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions a year on YouTube. I don't think I'll ever get there. I think we obviously missed the door and the window on that. And that's not why I want to grow it. I ask myself every day why I want to grow my channel. And I really don't know, but I do. And I think the main reason I do is just because I absolutely love fishing content. And that's really what it is. And that's all I do. I mean, I literally have the Elite series on YouTube right now on my TV. I haven't watched TV in I don't know how long. It's just been, I don't know. I really just watch all types of different fishing shows on YouTube. And there's in today's world, you can. It's I just think it's so cool that you can literally learn and go down rabbit holes on anything and everything out there due to the way social media and YouTube and all these different content creators are out there. It's really a cool thing. And I know a lot of like YouTubers catch a lot of slack and flack in the fishing world and stuff, and there are some that I believe deserve to, but then there's other ones that are just awesome, great, put out great content. They don't sell out. They're not the reason they're making it. This is what I tell my customers and stuff on the boat. I like a person on YouTube that the reason they're making it big on YouTube is because they're not trying to make it big on YouTube. It's real. They don't. Ben Milliken to me is a perfect example. Um, that guy just. Here's the deal, and this is what I tell Breezy and stuff. We have all these YouTube discussions, and I have friends. I'm friends with a lot of people that have really big channels on the platform as well. And there's no rhyme or reason. There's no. To me, all anyway. I've really tried to look into all this. There's no strategy. There's no nothing. You either just get lucky or you don't. And to make it big, like Ben Milliken, the reason he got big, he was just a small YouTuber guy and got bored during the pandemic, showed up to OHIV and caught like 60 pounds or something on camera. Okay. To a bass fisherman, you're going to if someone says they caught 60 pounds, it don't matter if it was on a shiner. It don't matter if you spearfished 60 pounds. You're going to click on it because you want to see 60 pounds of bass. And that's what really got him started. But on top of that, he's also backed it up. I mean, the guys, him and Josh Jones are right there, like with being some of the head guys using forward-facing sonar. He's never changed. Like as big as he's got, you watch his first videos and you watch his he's just the same guy, except now he's winning Bass Opens, and that's what's cool. I think that's so cool when there's people that say, "Oh, he's just a YouTuber," but he shows them now, like I can compete against the best, and he does. And that guy's really very, very good. Now there are some that maybe can't do that, but there's a lot of great content creators out there. There's a lot of great content, and I think that's why I just want to make my channel good and better. Is because I just like it. I just love fishing so much, and like I said, I mean, whiskey, bourbon. If you want to go down the rabbit hole on just learning how it's made, different types. I mean, you type that into your search bar on YouTube, and then for the next 36 years, you're just layered with all new content on things on that subject. So I think that's cool. And here's the deal, guys. Like, I make my living bass fishing now, and I could. Here's the deal. Also, like I'm very picky, so I could put out a video a day if I wanted to on whatever. I can put out a video of me cleaning my fish tank. I could put a video out of me mowing my lawn. Right? I don't want to do that. I can go put a video out of me going on the lake and literally having my headphones in, listening to a podcast, not catching anything nor talking to the camera, and just post it just to put content out. But I don't want to do that. I mean, I'm very particular about what I post, um, and a big reason for that is I think that's why I have the customer base that I have. And what I mean by that is I get a lot of customers and a lot of you guys watching that are more, even they're more fishermen, if that makes sense. And I don't want that to come off funny. Like, there's guiding where you take people that are here on vacation. They say, "Oh, I hear Florida has big largemouth bass fish. We should go try it." They type it in the Googles. They reach out to a couple of different people, and then whoever has the best price and works with their availability the best, they go with them. And that's fine. That is, I'm not that, and I do those trips. I do plenty, right? And that's fine. You know, people show up. We don't fish. We're from Blay, and we just want to go fishing. Like, you know, how long did it take them to get all the alligators out of this lake? What do you mean they're in here? How are we allowed out here if there's alligators? Like, those people, and that's fine. Those are some of my favorite trips too. But I feel like I get more of the either A, I'm down here for work. I'm a tournament fisherman. I fish the Bass Opens, whatever. I want to fish Okeechobee, or B, hey, I'm really getting into the fishing thing. I want to start fishing tournaments, or I just started fishing tournaments. I want to learn. I want to learn how to flip, you know, and to me, that tells me that somehow people think I actually know what I'm talking about, which is cool. And I like those trips. I get a lot of heat on the lake, and I want people to know that too, that people think I'm showing everybody everything on the lake. So the lake's getting harder to fish. You take all these customers out, you show them these spots, you show them what to do, you know, you talk about this on your video. And I think I do it in a smart way. You know, I don't post a video of fish that are still there a lot of times. If I go out and catch them, I don't upload it the next day. I usually wait till that bite in that particular area wears off. And it's not because I care. It's because there might be an angler or two or 8 or 10 in that area that are on those fish too. And to me, it's not fair to blow up their spot. Because 9 times out of 10, right, here I have more of an advantage. They're going to work Monday through Friday. I'm working Monday through Friday on the lake. So I could blow up, you know, Tin House Cove, because I know, you know, on my trip Tuesday and Wednesday, my customers might be coming from the Keys. So I'm not going to make them drive to the north end. I know I'm going to fish them on the south end, and I run around for 2 days and find new fish on the south end. Whereas a lot of these other anglers don't have the availability to do that. So I'm not going to blow up their deal. At least I try not to, the best of my ability. You know, I very care about that. And to me, you know, it makes me, I feel like a better angler. Um, is it either A, makes me move on and go find a new group of fish faster, but B, I think it just makes me work on my presentation, my boat positioning, and things like that. And I'm not good at finding fish. I'll be the flat out first person to tell you. I think there's people that excel at fishing, and there's people that excel at finding fish, and there's definitely people that excel at both. Um, and I feel like if I had to pick something, I don't think I'm the best out there at finding fish. I think that's why I get so excited when I do find the mother lode, like I kind of did the other day. I feel like, I don't know. We'll see tomorrow, because I'm actually going to be fishing a tournament tomorrow. But um, yeah, I don't know. And I just like learning. I like teaching. I do. I like teaching, but at the same time, I like people to have to like work for it. Like, I'm looking at these 2 snook mounts on my wall right now, and every like, I love, and don't get me wrong, I love bass fishing, and bass fishing is my passion. But I've learned, obviously, I had my dad and my brother, and people teach me, but and I learned a lot online on YouTube and stuff from Mikey Balls, and Mikey Balls was a big one for me. Uh, it's crazy to me that now when I see Mikey, like, he walks up, and me and him, I mean, we're not close friends or anything, but me and him like shoot the shit. Like, 8 years ago, I would have been tripping out, flipping out. I mean, that guy he was, I know I'm just ranting here, but, and I've probably said this before, but I grew up, my dad is a bass fisherman. Okay. We live growing up, we lived a half mile from the beach, and he could care less about anything in saltwater. So I was into bass fishing my whole life, but then of course when you turn 15, 16, you're that close to the beach, it's like, all right, I got to go see what this stuff is too. 14, whatever old I was. Started fishing the pier, started doing that stuff and snook fishing. And then the reason I got back into bass fishing was I had to stay home from work sick for 4 days. And I got on YouTube and just somehow a Mikey Balls video came up of him flipping. And I just dove into the flipping thing because I didn't flip. And yes, he showed me the basics and I saw kind of what worked for him. And then I just went out and became obsessed with the technique. But that's what it took. Like I got a baseline and started, and then I went out and did and learned it myself. And on today's trip, I had some regulars of mine. They're really kind of intrigued and interested in learning flipping. And there's so many questions. There's so much that goes into it. And I can answer the questions, but what I try to tell people is like, stop asking as many questions and just do it. And I'm gonna, obviously I knew that if we were in an area where I didn't think they should be flipping, I'd say, hey, you might not want to do that. But I think I made the comment today, if you really want to have a good chance of getting a good flipping bite, this might be it. And it was a very tough day on the lake today, but my guy caught one almost 6 pounds. I mean, it was the coolest thing. And my favorite part is when I have someone that wants to learn and they pick something up like that, especially flipping, they make the pitch. A lot of times I see the line jump before they even know anything happened. And I don't say anything because the last thing you want to do is make them like, what? What do you mean? Swing, brush, saw the line jump, didn't say nothing. He reeled down, felt weight. And all I said was, I never even looked at him. I just said, there he is. Sets the hook, fish peels out of the grass, wallows, head shakes underneath the boat, runs back in, jumps. I said, just right in the boat. Boat flips, and he looks at me. He's got one almost 5.5 pounds. And the coolest part to me is that right there, that what's happening to him or her at that second where their wheels are going, like, holy shit. That's what I watch on TV when people like, that's what happens. Like the hook set, the drag or the braid squeal, like, and I just did that. And now the next 50 times that person goes fishing, if they see Kissimmee grass or they see reeds like that we were flipping, it's like, oh, this is what I was doing. And they start from there and then they do their own thing. And they figure it out. Maybe they find a hook they really like. Maybe they find a knot. They find their braid they like. They find a rod they like. And they figure it out their own way. And I like that. But anyway, like I was going to say, like every morning when I go to work or I come out here to watch TV, I look at these snook mounts on my wall. One is my wife, Breezy's. Like the first time I ever took her snook fishing, she caught a giant. And then another one's just a big one I caught actually with Breezy and my father-in-law a couple years ago. I don't catch them like I used to because I don't have the time to go. But when I was a kid, I'll never forget my brother got me or won me a T-shirt. It said like South Florida Game Fish or something. And it had all these it was saltwater. And I remember permit and pompano and cobias and wahoos and marlin being all over this shirt. But I remember seeing a snook on there. It was a drawing of a snook. And I was like, what is that? That's called a snook. And then I started picking up on snook anytime I saw them in a restaurant on a wall. And then the tackle shop we used to go to every Saturday morning to buy shiners had not only a couple of snook mounts in there, but snook pictures. And then I remember catching my first snook ever. I was probably 12, 13 years old. I know I couldn't drive yet. Any of you that live in where I used to live, Dixie Highway Bridge that goes over the Hillsborough Canal right by Pioneer Park, standing under there with 3 homeless guys and 2 of my friends throwing a small Rapala. I caught a snook that was, well, let's put it this way. I could have put him in this glass head first and he would have lived for at least 30 minutes how small he was. But I thought that was so cool. Then I ended up just gradually fishing for them and catching small ones. And then just I started fishing from once I got older. I started fishing for them a lot at night from land. And that was a fishery or a fish that I truly feel like I understand because I didn't have anyone that taught me. I just took it upon myself to just learn it and go out. And I'll never forget, like, there was a bridge that I fished and still fish to this day that I'll never forget. I fished it 28 nights in a row without a bite, 28. And it was in the month of October. It was right after the mullet run. Actually, I lied. No, it was. It was right after the mullet run. And 28 nights in a row because I knew Snook lived there, trying different techniques, trying things. And then I ended up going there the 29th night. This is when I was really getting obsessed with it and started logging. And I caught 8 fish on the 29th night. And some of them were big. And it came down to one spot. One spot you had to stand in the right spot and sweep your jig the right way. But again, it's just, I feel like you learn more if you're doing it by yourself. You need a baseline. You need a video. You need pictures. You need to listen to a seminar. But none of that does anything if you're not going out and doing it. And that's why, fishing on the pier. That's why I love it so much. I think that's why it holds a special place with me. And I also feel like, and I don't want to sound cocky or egotistical, but I feel like I know what I'm doing on that pier because my dad didn't pier fish. This was literally, here's $20. I'll pick you up at 9:30 at night, and it's 5 in the morning, and boot me out of the truck with my neighbor, my best friend Logan, and we were out there sometimes for a couple days, and there was nobody to teach us, and you just trial and error until something works. And so it's one of those things, like the way I like teaching, but there's a lot of times where you get someone on the boat where you just see like they have it, they've give the drive, and they've got the skill set, they got the mechanics. Almost try to let them give them a little bit of hints and stuff, but just really try to let them figure it out for themselves. Because it's gonna better them in the long run. But at the same time, they're paying me, so you got to help when you can. But yeah, so I get lots of heat and stuff, but I really don't care. I feel like just be a better fisherman, So I feel like I struggle a little bit finding them, but there's a lot of guys also where I feel like you can go in there and there's certain people that are gonna outfit. There are gonna be 40 boats, but this person's going to outfish those boats because they're just the way they present the bait, the way they take their time. These boats might get, let's just say there's 8 boats in there, and seven of these boats get 10 bites. All 7 of them get 10 bites. A lot of times, out of those 10 bites, all those boats might only land 5 or 6 of them, whereas this person's going to land all 10. There's little differences like that. And I feel like that's where maybe I excel. Like, I feel like I'm good at presentation. I'm good at picking up on little things if I know I'm around fish. But as far as finding new groups of fish, I don't know. I feel like I'm way down on the list of people that are good at that on the lake. And I think that's why I get so excited when I find a good group of them. But it's always something to work on. But it's not really a way to teach that, I don't think. I don't know. I'd like to go fishing with some of the people that I think are good at finding them, especially these big groups of fish. But at the same time, I tell everybody all the time, you're around fish on this lake 24/7 on Okeechobee. And I truly think, but sometimes I have to convince myself of that. It's like, no, we're not going to the community hole. Let's find a new group. They're around here somewhere. They're not far. There's fish everywhere out here. And that's probably the part that I love most about bass fishing is just the puzzle, the figuring it out along the way. But I love bass fishing. That's my bread and butter. It's what I do for a living. It's what I take you guys to do. But as far as the channel, I want to, I don't know, I want to show you, I'm very integrated into different genres and scenes of fishing here in South Florida. And that was kind of, I've been saying I'm going to do it, but I am going to do it. I'm going to start, especially because now we're in the time of year where I can kind of do a little bit of everything. A lot of times in the winter, in my opinion, a lot of the stuff that I like to do, that's my busy season for the lake. And then a lot of other things I want to do aren't really firing off. But now that we're in spring and summer, starting to slow down, starting to take some off time. And a lot of the different fisheries I take part in are starting to happen. So I'm going to do my best at documenting a lot of that stuff. A lot of you may not like it. I don't know. I want to try and do some pure videos. I want to try and do some snook videos. I want to do some offshore videos down in the Keys, do some tarpon fishing, maybe go do some snakeheads. Like, see how thrown together this is? My table moves. Do some exotics. I'm really going to try and just do some different videos. And again, because I'm not doing it because I like it. It's I like that content, and I just, not even just the content, but I just love doing that stuff. And with me starting this guide business and getting married and moving out here, I don't get to do it like I used to. And now, if I can, kind of gives me a legit reason to go do it. Because here's the deal: like, I'll go sit on the pier like I did the other day. I highly doubt Ricky's watching this, but Ricky, my buddy Ricky, caught 3 kingfish on the pier. It was pretty cool. I went to the pier and sat there. We went and caught kingfish on artificial lures, which was something really fun to do. And I'll go sit out there for 9 hours and not get a bite and just leave just as happy, because I just like being on the pier. Snook fishing, the same thing. But that's one of those things where it's like, well, I should go to the pier. I want to go to the pier, but I really need to mow the lawn. Or I want to go to the pier tomorrow, but you know what? I should probably go put some content out there. I'm getting into the slow season. I should probably go shoot video on the boat on the lake. But if I can make some videos out of it, it's just more videos out there, more content out there. Someone who lives on Lake Gunnersville might click on a saltwater video, see it because they're interested in it because they don't get to do it. Scroll, oh, this guy guides on Okeechobee. Oh, shit. And then get a customer that way. So if I start doing these different videos, it'll give me a reason or an excuse to go do it, because I'm not just going fishing to have fun. I'm making a video out of it. So I don't know. We're going to try and do stuff like that. And honestly, the same thing kind of goes for this podcast. If I get a little more legit setup here going, I do want to have, it's not just going to be bass fishing talk. I think I said that in the beginning, but just talk to people about all different types of fishing. So, and there's a reason for it too. And any of you that are maybe rolling your eyes or not excited about that, I greatly encourage you guys as fishermen, as bass fishermen, to broaden your horizons on content you look at for many reasons that will help you with bass fishing, if that makes sense. Perfect example is where I keep going back to flipping, but there is not a video on YouTube that I have not watched that has the word flipping or pitching in the title. I've watched them all, and I've watched them all numerous times. Now, I have not changed what I do flipping and pitching over the last 5 years, but you never know. You never know if one person does one minute little thing that makes you go, huh, it makes you try it, and it betters your game, if that makes sense. And I've had stuff like that a ton, and watch stuff that maybe doesn't appeal to you. I don't throw a wacky rig, but I'll watch wacky rig videos because sometimes there's something or a tip that certain person gives that I say, I can apply that to throwing a chatterbait or to throwing a Texas rig. Like, there's little things, and all that little stuff sometimes, at the end of the day, if it just gives you more confidence, it's worth it. And, the same thing goes for, I think there's a lot of, going back to snook fishing, saltwater, I think a lot of a lot of times the reason I catch bass fairly okay is because of certain things I ran into in saltwater or in snook fishing in general. I feel like snook and bass are very similar. And like with how they move, how they set up, um, and I'm not going to go through everything, but there's certain things that a lot of you that book me, I tell you on the boat, and you're like, wow, I've never thought of it that way. That makes a lot of sense. And a lot of that stuff, and a lot of you probably know what I'm talking about, is learning from watching stuff. The other cool thing about fishing on the pier my whole life wasn't, a lot of times, like especially this time of year when it's calm and clear, you're watching the fish from a bird's eye view. You could see them. There's days you can count pennies on the bottom of the ocean, and you're watching those fish swim. You're watching how they react to baits. You're watching how they react to if you make a bad presentation with a bait. And I think that's what makes me so keen on presenting my bait so perfectly for bass, is because I had to do it on the pier. They're living around the pier, and you got 60 idiots up there bombing stuff at their head. They get accustomed to it. They get used to it. They get spooked easy. You have to make that perfect presentation, whether it's to a snook, whether it's to a tarpon, whether it's to a cobia, more importantly, snapper, things like that. There's so many little things you can do different that give you such a bigger turnout. And I think that's why I apply that to bass fishing so much too. So I don't know. I feed off of all different types of content. So I want to have people from all different walks of in different fishing cultures out here just to talk fishing. Hopefully, one of my favorite podcasts. I should say one of my podcast hosts is a guy by the name of Joe Cermelli, and maybe some of you watch his stuff, maybe some of you don't. So he's kind of a mutual friend of mine. I was actually supposed to take part in a film shoot with him years ago with my buddy Zach Miller, and I ended up having the only family reunion I've ever had in my life on that date, which was crazy and kind of made me miss out on some stuff. But either way, so that's where I met this gentleman by the name of Joe Cermelli. We're not best friends. We're not anything like that. When we see each other at ICAST and stuff, hey man, what's going on? But this guy is so good at what he does. And what's really cool is he's from New Jersey. He was an editor and a writer for Field and Stream for years. And he had not only did he do a podcast through Field and Stream, but he also had an internet video series, which I greatly encourage you guys to watch, called Hook Shots. And what it was, they're 10 to 12-minute videos. And they're basically cliff notes of a 3-day fishing trip. And it's done very well, very fast-paced, but I've watched them all 100 times. But what's really cool is, like, this guy goes redfish fishing in Louisiana. And then the next episode might be halibut fishing in Alaska. And then the next video might be tarpon fishing in the Keys. And the next video might be fly fishing for Peacock Pass in Miami. Then it might be streamer fishing for brown trout on the White River. Then it might be alligator gar fishing in Texas. Bottom line is, with his job, he was constantly writing about different things, and different fisheries, and learned and educated himself on a lot of these things. And then he goes and does it. And then so we went and did all these video shoots. There's like 80 episodes out there. Then they had the Hook Shots podcast, and he would bring in people from all different cultures of fishing. He'd bring in people from the surf striper scene. He'd bring in people that were into tying flies in Colorado for trout. And he'd bring in people from the Keys. And I always thought that was so cool that one person did that. Like, he never tied himself down to bass fishing or to catfish fishing or to trout fishing. He had all these different connections throughout the whole industry and different people. And I love, and I would click, I've caught 5 rainbow trout in my entire life, but some of my favorite podcasts to listen to are talking about trout fishing, just how different it is. It's something new, and just learning. So that's kind of, what I'd like to do. And I encourage you guys to do that too, is click on stuff you think won't apply to you. I use this one all the time. A lot of you know the name Mark Zona, commentator for the Elite Series. That's what everyone knows him as. But that guy is probably the most underrated angler on planet Earth. That was a Mark Zona line right there. On planet Earth, Tommy Sanders. He's very, 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 very underrated in my opinion. That guy's a hammer. That guy can catch them. Is he the most entertaining bass fisherman to watch on his little TV show and stuff? Absolutely. He's amazing. He's hilarious. He's funny. But any of you that aren't subscribed to the Bass University, I don't think I am anymore. But you have to pay. It's basically YouTube videos you pay for. But these are very, very in-depth seminars done by a lot of the different pros. And Zona, that's why I was telling you, Zona does a seminar in there on dock fishing. Now, why am I watching a dock fishing seminar? We don't have a dock on Lake Okeechobee. I've watched it 60 times. Everything he says, I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Huh, I never thought of that. Wow, that's cool. And like, I've just learned, and I'm not going to get into it, but there's like 4 things I picked up from that video that I do or maybe not every day, but I do often on my boat. And it's not even for dock fishing. It just made sense for another application that I use. And most people say, well, I don't dock fish. I'm not going to watch a dock fishing seminar. No, you click it. If you have free time, click it and listen because it will help you. But then most important thing is go apply what interests you and go apply what you took down and use it, on your fishery. And Zona's great. Highly recommend watching everything with Mark Zona. So yeah. So trying to grow the channel. I just really like the video deal. I like, and I just love fishing, guys. I love it. Like the bass fishing thing, I love it. But, I'm sitting here at home right now by myself. I had to work. I worked today, worked the day before. And Breezy's down in the Keys with the baby. They dolphin fished and deep dropped yesterday. It was kind of slow, but I don't know. They might be heading to the reef right now, going mangrove fishing. And I'm kind of, I'm jealous. I love doing it all. I grew up doing it all. And I kind of want to take you guys and showcase to you guys a lot of different videos. But obviously we'll be doing, there'll be, for every different type of video, for every saltwater video, there'll be a bass video or 2 in between, hopefully. And hopefully on some different fisheries. So that kind of leads us kind of what's going on here in the very, very near future, what you guys can look forward to. Is so tomorrow I am fishing a King of the Glades tournament with Kelly. I think I figured something out on my guide trip today. And listen, this is kind of a fun tournament. It's my favorite time of year. Me and Kelly are just going to literally put the boat in. We're going to be fishing at his boat tomorrow. We're going to each have 2 flipping sticks on the deck. And that's the plan for tomorrow. We're going flipping. We might zero. We might catch 35 pounds, but we're going to have fun. I like it when the weather sets up where it's hot, miserable, but you pick that flipping rod up and just go with it. And that's our plan for tomorrow. So hopefully you guys see a nice video come from that. Or it might, if we find a big bag of fish, going back to what I was talking about earlier, might be a little while before you see it. Find a new group, might want to save them for a little bit before I post it, before people find it. So I'm doing that. And then I work the next day. And I'm leaving that night to go up to Lake Wales, Florida, where my parents have a small little lake house in a little private community on a private lake called Saddlebag Lake. Maybe a lot of you know where that's at. And I'm going to go fish out there for at least 1 day, possibly 2. So I'm going out there, just going to hang out with them. But I plan on getting there Monday night, waking up Tuesday morning. My dad should have our boat in the water already, and I'm going to go out and try to film a video out there. Here's the deal with Saddlebag. It's not big. You could fish the entire thing throwing a buzzbait down the bank in a day, around the whole thing. I mean, it's not very big. It's clear. It's like 65 feet deep in the middle. There's a lagoon section, like a residential section. You come out, there's a cut, and there's two big, there's like a skinny in the middle and makes two big, small ponds on each side, hence the name Saddlebag. It looks like a saddlebag from a satellite. It's very clean water for the most part. It is tannic, but it's fairly clean. Apparently, it's a spring-fed lake. No submerged grass whatsoever for the most part. It's mainly needle grass, clear water, shrimp grass on the bottom, and there is some Kissimmee grass in there and some flat pads. And when it comes down to it, if you catch 13 or 14 pounds in there, you're doing something. With that being said, there are giants in there. It's the lake that I fished in my last when we went to ICAST last year. Kind of went, boom, I caught one on a frog and we left. But I'm going to go there and try to film like me going and fishing this lake. It means a lot to me. I've been fishing it since I was 8, and it was cool that the older I got, every time I went back, I'd see how much I had grown. I could try new techniques there and things, but it might be very good. I don't know. My dad says, excuse me. My dad says it's been slow. He's been up there for a few weeks, but we'll see what we can do. They do really like a frog up there. Probably do some flipping. Might be skipping some pontoon boats. Just stuff I don't get to do. But either way, I just really, really like fishing that lake because I've been fishing since I was 8. It's small. And I kind of cut my teeth there and learned a lot about bass fishing there. So we're going to do that. I'm not bringing my boat. At least that's not the plan. My dad's got we got our boat, I don't even know what model it is. You guys will see it, but it's a 17.5-foot Ranger with a 115 Black Max on the back. And when my dad bought that when I was 11, 10, I don't know how long it is. It's been a long time we've had it. I thought I was Kevin Van Dam out there. Love the boat. My brother kind of took it and redid it. Came out great. So we fishing in the old boat, in the old house. So that should be a pretty cool video. And then I'm either going to fish it again the next day before I go home, or if my buddy Garrett Rockamora doesn't have a guide trip and I could sneak out with him onto the Kissimmee chain, we might do that. And we're not going to have time to sit down and do a podcast, although I do want to do it with him. But something tells me here before too long, there'll be a derby on Okeechobee. He wants to fish, and he'll be staying at the house. And we'll definitely have Garrett Rockamora on. Those of you that don't know who Garrett Rockamora is, follow him on Instagram, Facebook. He's a definition of a Florida hammer. That guy, he's just dialed in. And I don't fish Kissimmee. So what's funny is a lot of you probably listening to this are like, you have a place at Saddlebag, you don't fish Kissimmee. To go to Camp Mack Road, we're literally we're literally the turnoff before Camp Mack Road on Route 60. And we just never fish it. I fished Walking Water a few times, but I haven't fished Kissimmee. Apparently it's a little tough out there right now. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Garrett will say, hey, meet me at this lake and we'll go somewhere else. But I don't know. So that's 2 videos right there. You guys should have. That's 3 videos you guys should look forward to seeing coming up. So hopefully I start getting in the routine of doing a fishing video so often. I don't necessarily want to get into the routine of doing a fishing video on a schedule, but maybe this podcast. And like I said, it might be once a month because I kind of run out of shit to talk about on here. You know what I mean? And I kind of want to grow this from being just a Lake Okeechobee podcast to just a fishing podcast. I guess we really didn't talk about Lake Okeechobee that much in this one so far, but the lakes, guys, if you guys want to come fish the lake, come when you can. Everyone saw the 20 bags over 30 pounds. I'm pretty sure I know I did a video on that already. That was insane. Obviously, the weights fell off pretty quick the days following because the lake just can't sustain that. No lake in the world can sustain that for that long because what I think I said in the video was that fishing was happening the week leading up to the tournament too. It wasn't like that just happened. There was a lot of us out there that knew that was going to be happen. Maybe not quite to that extent, but they knew it was going to be crazy. The lake's still fishing good. It's not easy, but they're there, and it is getting it is getting hot, very hot. So I've been fishing kind of from 6:30 to 12:30. We've been calling it a day, and as it gets even warmer, we might be calling it at 10 o'clock. But we're catching fish, catching good numbers, and we are catching some big ones. I think it took 29 pounds to win the Gerard's tournament today. I don't know who won. I really don't know. I think Bass Busters took 24. But lake's fishing good. The water's finally dropping, knock on wood. Hopefully we don't get too much rain to where it keeps bringing it up. It's dropping. I hit bottom twice this week, and I'm so happy. I didn't do damage to my boat, but I'm just happy I started hitting bottom. That means the lake's getting low. Things are starting to clean up. We are getting an algae bloom, which I knew was going to happen any day. So some of the water is getting green. But I know people that don't let the green water bother them, and they catch them in the green water. But water's getting clean. I am starting to find some bluegill activity in some areas. I definitely found it where we're going to be fishing tomorrow. So the lake's looking good coming up. If they keep on with this spraying next winter, when we need the backwater, we need the submerged grass and the cattails to block from wind and dirty, it's not going to look good. So hopefully, apparently I'm hearing rumors from people that I trust in and believe that there's some conversations going on with FWC with some changes that are going to be being made. I'm not going to name who I talked to, but things are maybe looking promising. I'll believe it when I see it, but we'll see. So I'll definitely update all of you guys when I see it on paper and or see it happening. But there's some stuff maybe that's going to be working. I don't know what triggered it. I don't know what the cause of it is because I haven't been involved in these conversations, but I am interested to see if the little rumors I've heard are true because that would be amazing. So we'll see. But that's about it. So I'm a bachelor tonight. I'm sipping on my Woodford Reserve. I'm going to go sit and watch the Bass Elites on rerun until I fall asleep. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to drive to Clewiston. I'm going to meet with my buddy Kelly. And hopefully we're going to go flip up 35 pounds for you guys tomorrow. It's going to be hot. But we're going to have fun. So, I don't know. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate... I say this all the time, but I'm going to just say it again. If you want to reach me, text me. I've had 4. This is where I'm at right now in life. I don't really know what to do. I am the old. So here's what I've noticed about myself as I've gotten older. I used to I don't want to say made fun of, but when you kind of cringe and it's kind of like a stereotype or it's kind of a thing, a trend that everybody nowadays has anxiety or is not flustered, is can't multitask, ADHD, all that. I feel like I'm getting that now the older I get, where I can't concentrate on one thing because I got so much going on. I don't really have anxiety. It's not what it is at all. I don't worry really about anything or anything, but I'm to the point now where here's what's different, and I don't want this to come off sounding bad, but for the most part, any other YouTuber that you find, and I'm not a legit YouTuber, right? I have 3,000 subscribers or something. I don't know. But any of the guys you watch, very rarely, if not ever, do they put their phone number for you to be able to text or call them. And not only that, but do they encourage you to text and call with questions? I do. So on a normal day, like I might wake up at 5 a.m., meet my customers in Clewiston, fish till noon, come home and look at my phone, and I have 39 messages. Okay. Now, out of that 39, obviously none are from Breezy because I answer my wife when I'm on the water, but I'm in like 8 group texts, so like 8 of those messages might be group texts. 2 might be my customer for the following day. 2 might be my customers for next week, confirming everything that we're still good before they hop on a plane and fly down here. And then there's just, I have people that text me that are previous customers. Like I've taken them 8 or 9 times. And they might text me, hey man, I just ordered these new frogs. Have you seen these? And they'll send me pictures. Or, hey man, I have a club tournament out of Scott Driver. Is the water dirty in Tin House? Or, hey man, what's going on? Hope the family's good. And text me about that. And then you have people also that are inquiring about guide trips. With that being said, I am not discouraging anybody from texting me pictures of their frog, from texting me what they caught that weekend, sending me pictures. Hey, I went to Lake Gunnersville and caught these fish. I'm not discouraging anyone because I love to see it, but it's almost getting like impossible now for me to be able to like interact and reach out to everybody. But I like it. Like I don't want that to sound not. I don't like leaving people unread and not getting back to people. That's not what I mean. But I like that. That like when you come on the boat with me, for the most part, I consider you like a friend. Like we become buddies. Like it's cool. Like I meet. That's my favorite part of my job is the people I meet. I meet some of the coolest, nicest, most interesting people. I had a guy the other day. Guy Mark owns a marina up in New York. Had him for 2 days, and just guy was super smart. We had fun. He was funny as hell, and just like good fisherman, wanted to learn. Heard the ins and outs about running a marina. Um, my guy yesterday, super cool guy. His kid's really getting into fishing. His kid ends up being like this kid's a mad genius. I'm not naming his name. But kids like doing all this crazy stuff. Kids like 15 teaching college courses, right? So we're talking about that, how that is. And then we're talking about what else are you into? This guy's like a barbecue nut, traveled the world or traveled the country barbecuing and competitions. I don't know about you guys, but this guy loves some smoked brisket and some barbecue. So I'm asking him all kinds of questions about that. Like that was just the last 3 days. My guys today, Jesse and Big Fish Marv, if you're listening, Jesse's been fishing with me for forever. He's just cool dude from Miami, drives up. He's funny. We just vibe real well, gel real well. He likes throwing a jackhammer. He asked me questions about flipping. He caught a big fish flipping today. And I like that. And I like the repeat business. Tom, if you're listening, my buddy Tom, I'm drinking some bourbon for you. Sorry about your horrible luck with the bad motor incident. Today was slow. So if that makes you feel any better, I don't know. But I like that like I'm in like just a text, like my customers slash friends can just text me and like we have conversations. With that being said, I'm so like overwhelmed with it that I feel like I'm not doing my job correctly. Like I'll just be going through my phone and I've got texts that I'm not BSing you guys that, hey, I'm looking to book a trip, blah, 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 that were sent to me 2 weeks earlier. And they're clicked. I've clicked them. I clicked the blue dot's not there, but I do not remember reading that. I never read it. Nothing. And I think it's just because I'm clicking and I'm texting this person and I'm texting this person about our cows and this person's supposed to come to our house for this and that and all this stuff. And so I'm telling you to text me, but seriously, do that. Just text me. Calling, I get my spam it's getting ridiculous. It's like 8 to 10 calls a day being spam. I'm at the point where I think I might have to figure something out with a business phone, and the business phone is going to be plugged in right here, and it's not going to leave here. And every day when I come home, I'm in front of my book, open it up, and I can answer questions I have. So what I'm really getting at is I apologize again for maybe taking a long time to get to you. I might honestly click your message and go right by it and forget it. Do not be too don't think I'm going to don't be shy to text me again. So if you text me, "Hey man, my name's so and so, I live here, BBDBDBD. I'm looking, are you open on these dates?" And it's been a day and I haven't responded to you at all, resend it. I won't take it the wrong way that you're being pushy or anything. I promise you. Do me that favor, because things I accidentally click stuff. I guess I don't know. And now usually I'll say, "Hey, I'm on the water right now, but I will look as soon as I get home." Sometimes if I see it come through, and I'll pin it to the top of my text messages, and I'll remember to do that. But if you don't hear from me for a day or two, send it again. Text me. Uh, I am like serious. Don't I'm that's the best way to do it. And I like having everything in writing. I'm one of those guys where um, I told you 100 times, I don't want to double book. I don't want to mess up. I like having everything in writing so I can go back and look at it. I like if I'm out on the water Tuesday at or Wednesday at 5:30 because I'm going to fish the Wednesday night tournament on the north end, and I know I have a trip tomorrow. I don't have my book with me. I like being able to type in tomorrow's date in my search bar and oh, I'm taking Zach. There he is. Click it, and I can call him or text him about the next day. I don't have to wait till 10:30 at night to get home and look up his number in my book or worry him that he hasn't heard from me and it's 8:30 at night. So um, I literally just almost had a mini heart attack when I was getting ready to do this podcast. I sat down, I talked to Kelly about what time we're meeting and stuff, and I click it off. I go to sit down and my phone comes up. See you tomorrow, right-handed, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I scheduled someone for tomorrow. I don't even know who this is. I click it. I forgot. Breezy's selling some reels to a close friend of ours, and he texted me about that I'm bringing them to him at the weigh-in tomorrow. But I literally, like, my heart stopped. But that's my worst fear in life. So text me to all of you that have my personal number. Obviously, I don't have a business line yet. I like that we can talk and stuff, but just please don't take it the wrong way if I don't get back to you, or sometimes I don't get back to you for 3 or 4 days. I know my phone right now has 30 messages I haven't even looked at. Anyone want to like be a booking agent for me and make like $1 a day? That's about all I can afford. Because I'm not a multitasker. My wife, if she was here, I should FaceTime her right now and she will vouch for me. I cannot. It's sad. If I'm mopping the floor and she tells me, "Hey, mop under the pool table too," I'll forget to do it. I cannot multitask. So, but still, text me. If I don't get back to you, text me again. If you call me and leave me a voicemail, I'm going to text you. I'm a texter. Now, once we get you secured, or like I got you in there, I might say, "Hey, I'll call you for a deposit the next day or something because I'll have an opening to call you." We will talk on the phone, but for the most part, I'm a texter, so we have everything in writing. So text me, text me, text me. 954-871-9976. And I apologize for being the worst communicator in the business. That should be the name. That should be the name of my charter business is No Communication Charters. But we'll have fun once we get out there. And I have no one else to talk to. So, about all I got, people. I'm very grateful. I was thinking about it just today, running back across the lake. Like, I never thought I'd be this busy. I never thought I'd be doing this for a full-time living. I'm fishing. I am fishing for a living. It's crazy. I caught a 6.5 pounder today. It was tough. We went 3.5 hours without a bite. All three of us are fishing, trying something new, just trying to figure something out. And the first bite we get, I got it. Pitching was a 6.5 pounder, and that keyed us into what was going on. I put my rod down. My guys caught some fish, but like that was my job to do that. And it's just crazy to me. I never thought I'd be this busy. I never thought people would care about what I say, want to listen to me. I never thought people would want to text me about anything fishing related. Never thought people would want to pay me to go fishing, let alone for multiple days. So, very grateful. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really, really do mean that. So, I don't know. I'm going to go sit down and finish this little glass of whiskey here, watch some TV, and then I'm going to go to bed. So hopefully wish me and Kelly luck that we crack them tomorrow. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next one. Tight lines, and you guys be safe out there.